Hey, what's good? Just want to come on here real quick, just just kind of rap a little bit, talk, not hip hop. My bad. Just come on here and just speak a little bit, just kind of acknowledge, Memorial Day, and as well as the 100-year anniversary of the uh racist terrorist attack in Tulsa, Oklahoma. For those that don't know, Tulsa, Oklahoma, 1921. It was a terrorist attack, the first ever airstrike in American soil. It was a domestic terrorist attack in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm not going to go through the whole history of it. A lot of people should probably know this by now. If you don't, look it up. I will put some links in the description or whatever like that too. But basically, I kind of more so just wanted to acknowledge the greatness of Black Wall Street and the Black Wall Streets that existed during that time, because it wasn't just in Tulsa, Oklahoma. There was places in Florida and different territories or whatever like that. But sorry, but in different territories like that, all over the country. The one in Tulsa, that was more so the hub. That was the one that had the largest and most amounts of black-owned businesses and things like that at that time, and really ever for Black Americans. And all of that got destroyed by racist white people who basically came in, killed. The numbers are kind of all over the place about how many black people actually got murdered, but countless black people that died during that race terrorist attack and different things like this. The families never really truly got compensated. Some of the people that were children during that time actually still alive now, that are over 100 years old. Of course, their children, their grandchildren, things like that, still talk about what happened to kind of continue that legacy. I believe there was a documentary that came out yesterday or sometime during Memorial Weekend, going into it more. Like I said, I'm not really going to go too deep into what happened. I'll put some links and things like that, but yeah, it's more so to me just looking back on that time and just showing what we are actually capable of as black people, as far as us owning our own businesses and actually supporting one another, which is something that I think that we've kind of steered away from a lot. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I got a shoebox back there. Don't worry about that. um, but it's just kind of sad in a lot of ways to look at where we were at during that time, during the height of Jim Crow and different things like this, the resurfacing of the Klan during that time, and all of these things. And yet we still understood group economics and understood how to build businesses. Now, obviously, we maybe could have done a better job on the defense front, as far as defending ourselves from terrorists, whether that be domestic terrorists or otherwise. But in my opinion, there's no reason why we can go from having Black Wall Streets around the country to where we are now as black people. And I'm not going to put the blame on other groups of people for us not supporting one another. You know what I mean? Obviously, certain systems are in place to make it tougher for us to get business loans and different things like this. But nowadays, with social media and all these different things that we have, is kind of like, how is it that we were able to be that successful 100 years plus? Because this is the 100-year anniversary of Black Wall Street being destroyed. But I mean, obviously, it was built up before that. But how do we go from 100 years ago having something like a Black Wall Street to where we're at now? The biggest black bank, One United Bank, is a bank that I go through. The hell? um, that the brick and mortars for that bank, I think that there's only about three of them in the whole country, and that's the largest black-owned bank in the whole country. That started in around the '60s, in the mid 1900s, during the civil rights era and things like that, right? So, as much as we need to be reminded of the devastation and the failures of Black Wall Street as far as it getting destroyed, at the same time, that is proof that we can come together as black Americans, as black human beings, and support one another. whether that be financially or otherwise. We gotta stop all this BS, including me. Sometimes I kind of get into the BS too. I'm not gonna sit up here in front. I'm human, but yeah, man, like how do we go from that to having this whole black gender war and all this other type of stuff, black men hating on other black men, black women hating on one another, all this different crap that's going on, when during the height, like I said, 100 years ago, during the height of Jim Crow, we were able to work together despite all the BS that we, were subjected to during that time and still today. But now everybody wants to just be about self and just, individuals and independence and all this kind of stuff. We got to stop that. But, of course, my heart goes out to everybody that lost their lives 100 years ago, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street, everything like this. We really got to get back to practicing group economics, right? And also, real quick, just want to say, obviously it's Memorial Day. It's a little, just a little nugget. Memorial Day technically started from black male soldiers acknowledging the black soldiers that died during the Civil War, because obviously nobody else was going to, acknowledge those black lives that were lost, excuse me, during that war. So the black men during that time were like, screw it, we'll just come up with our own thing and, commemorate the people that died. And then a few years later, this was in 1865, I believe, and about 3 years later, one of the white generals during that time, I can't remember his name at the top of my head, I think it was like John something, about a few years later made it an official holiday. And then, of course, white American society got all the credit for creating Memorial Day, when technically the practice of Memorial Day started from black men who, fought in the Civil War. So, just know your history, know who you are, and stop the BS. Love yourself, love your people, love your reflection, and let's get back to business, people, for real. But I just want to say that real quick. I'll put some links in the description if you guys want to read more about the history and everything like that. But I got to get going. But yeah, peace.